What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And EA has done an oopsie. They posted their quarterly results, for their stockholders, and their stockholders are jumping ship. I mean, look at this. This is EA's stock value. Look at this plummet from $92 a share down to $79 a share. And people are saying that is the biggest dip in EA stock value in 20 years. I mean, when you look at their lifelong chart, you can see that huge dip back in 2009 where they went from like $49 to $15. And to give you an idea, here was their peak back in 2018 at $145, and then we dropped all the way down to 82, and now we're rebounding back to 90. And the reason people are jumping ship, the reason stockholders are selling, is because in a conference call late Tuesday, the EA chief executive Andrew Wilson basically said that the company faced significant challenges in the fiscal third quarter, and that would continue through the fourth quarter. And most notably, they are blaming the fact that Battlefield 5 only sold 7.3 million copies, and they are saying that is 1 million less copies than they had expected to sell. And that just goes to outline one of the biggest issues EA is facing. They have said that Battlefield sales were disappointing, but they shipped 7.3 million copies of your game. If you sell 7.3 million copies of your game at $60 a pop with a $90, $100 special edition, and then you have built-in microtransactions from the ground level as well, if that is disappointing sales to you, then you have too much bloat somewhere in your budget, somewhere over there at the people developing it for you, maybe too much money on marketing, or maybe some of those big CEO bonuses you're expecting to take tens of millions of dollars. Whatever it is, that is just one of the biggest issues we see with AAA gaming. We see a lot of games selling millions and millions and millions of copies, and people saying, well, that was disappointing. We didn't sell as many as we'd hoped. We only broke even on this game, or we only doubled or tripled or quadrupled our money, when these days EA wants to get 10, 30, 50 times their investment back, and that's just insane. That seems insane to me. But there is a really good thing about this statement during this business call. It does look like at least someone at EA understands what the problem is. In the statement, he says, if I think about Battlefield 5 more holistically, I think we did not do a great job building momentum in the project. And I think about this in the context and broader execution against the entire campaign. Our launch didn't resonate strongly as we would have liked it to with players, and we never were able to play catch-up as our competitors continued to build momentum, whether that was Fortnite or Red Dead Redemption 2 or Call of Duty. You think it was difficult to build momentum when you released one of the most hated trailers in all of gaming history? And then when it got massively disliked and people gave you their feedback about it, you said, if you don't like what we're doing with the game, don't purchase the game. It turns out that is a very bad way to build momentum. You were correct. That was a terrible marketing plan. I'm glad you learned something, EA. And please keep in mind that Battlefield 5 also got bad reviews. It got an 81% over at Metacritic, and there was plenty of stuff in there that was just planted for reviewers to like. The diversity and the open-mindedness and the forward thinking, that's the kind of stuff critics normally will praise, even if the game is only mediocre, and there they can only get an 81% on the score. And the reason for that bad score, for the most part, is because the game was rushed to market. It was rushed unfinished. There were very few modes, not a lot of stuff in it, and a lot of the modes that were in it just weren't available at launch. Some of them, if I'm not mistaken, have just now recently become available. And of course, EA should understand that now, right? Obviously, you can't rush a game out the door. That's going to cause it to fail. You can't attack your consumers. That's going to cause your game to fail. That's what they would apologize for. That's what they would tell the stockholders they won't do moving forward, right? Right? Please, EA, right? Nope, he said that the reason the game failed is because they prioritized a single-player campaign over a battle royale mode. Oh. Well, here's the good news. If he is correct, it will solve all of their woes and all of their problems, because March of 2019, we will see that much anticipated, much delayed Battle Royale mode coming for their game 6 months after release. But sure, I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. And I guess it will solve all of EA's problems. So look forward to the next quarter, quarter one of next year. They'll be rich again. Or maybe it could be that instead of creating trends, EA has become a company that now follows trends. Instead of being a company that everybody else chooses to copy, EA is now a company that just copies everybody else, and is quite often late to the game. So a Battle Royale mode in 2019 for a game that's sold in 2018, that's not going to solve your problems. That's definitely not going to solve your problems. EA continues to be a company with tremendously amazing licenses like the Battlefield franchise, like Dungeon Keeper, like Command & Conquer, and they just don't know what to do with these licenses when it's staring them right in the face. Just create good games, create good versions of those games. Don't worry about live monetizing. Don't worry about live services. Don't worry about anything like that. Look at the original games that sold in the franchise and make those games again in a modern form. Dungeon Keeper and Command & Conquer, they don't belong on mobile, they belong on PC. The real-time strategy market is ripe for a return, and we don't have any good RTSs anymore, and I know that you do need to modernize it, but if you modernized Dungeon Keeper, I would buy it, I would stream it, I would talk about it here on the YouTube channel, and I think you'll sell millions of units, and I know if you don't sell 10 million, that's not good enough for you guys, and if it's not a live service, and unless you can monetize that live service, then it's not good enough for you guys. I understand that. But if you could just make a good game, that's good enough for us, the consumer. If Naughty Dog can make single-player games, single-player experiences that people really enjoy and talk about, and sell tens of millions of units and make a profit doing it, then EA can do the same thing. And if Santa Monica Studios and Insomniac Games and all of these other great companies can do it, then guess what? You can do it too, EA. I believe in you. I don't think you're as incompetent as everyone else seems to think. If you want to keep making 2 or 3 live service games a year, that's fine. If you want to make a Battle Royale mode, if you want to make a card game that's going to fail, feel free to go ahead and continue to do that. But give these studios and give these licenses a chance to breathe. And I promise you, EA, I promise you, we will buy those games. But instead, you double down and triple down by saying, oh, there wasn't a Battle Royale mode in the game at launch, and that's why it failed. Single player was a mistake. We shouldn't have done single player. We should have only done multiplayer. Why? Why not just completely destroy the Battlefield 5 franchise? Put a card game in it. Put it on mobile. Make it a mobile card game with Fortnite style building in it and Minecraft style building in it. I don't know, just copy literally everybody else instead of letting DICE do what DICE does best, which is make really good single-player stories and really good multiplayer combat. But the biggest problem, and the biggest writing on the wall, is the fact that you're not diversifying. And as Jim Sterling is very quick to point out in a lot of different videos, he will point out that there's only so many players in the world, and only so many of us are willing to sit down for 3 hours a day to play the same live service game over and over. And if you are trying to get those people to do that, you need to realize they didn't want to do that for Battlefield 5. They wanted to do it for Fortnite. They're all playing Fortnite. So don't chase Fortnite's audience. Don't try to beat Epic at their own game. Why don't you, instead of following Epic's trend, set your own trend and have Epic follow you? And look, I know you're convinced that you're doing the right thing, so if you want to continue to make 2 or 3 live service games a year, feel free. But why don't you take some of those absurdly talented developers at these incredible studios and allow them to revive some of their old IPs and have them introduce those games for players like me? Because a lot of us players, we're not interested in live service games. We're not interested in playing the same game over and over again. We're interested in single-player experiences. We're interested in nostalgia. And you can tap into that currently almost untapped market. I'll never buy a live service game, and I'll never buy microtransactions in a live service game. But would I buy Command & Conquer? Would I buy Dungeon Keeper? Would I buy Black and White? In a heartbeat. EA, once again, you have posted disappointing quarterly earnings, and once again, you have found out that what you're doing is not working. Please self-correct. Please move in the different direction. Please take her advice. I mean, the only way you're going right now is down, so it can't hurt to try something new. Take it from somebody who knows. But that's one man's opinion, and I could be wrong. And I know if I am, you're going to let me know in the comments section below. While you're down there, drop a like on this video if you want to see more videos like this. And if you want to do me a favor, hit subscribe. If you're already subscribed, hit that notification bell so you can be one of the very first people to watch one of these videos. And if you do that, know that you're helping the channel quite a bit just by being one of the first people in the first hour to watch a video in its entirety. And I appreciate those of you who do. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.